Have you heard what's going on with Simon Ekpa lately? There's a lot of tension, shock, and heavy developments coming out of Finland. Grab your seat because this one's serious. If you enjoy staying updated, remember to like this video and subscribe to stay in the know. So here's the gist. Simon Ekpa, a controversial figure linked to separatist agitation and self-styled leadership of a Biafra Republic government in exile, has been sentenced to 6 years in prison by a Finnish court. Now, the headline we're focusing on: Simon Ekpa's lawyers drop heavy evidence, Finland in panic. Might be a bit exaggerated, but let's break down what's really happening and why this story is causing such waves both in Nigeria and abroad. What's the case against Simon Ekpa? Ekpa was arrested by Finnish authorities in November 2024, charged with incitement to commit a crime with terrorist intent and participation in a terrorist organization. Prosecutors in Finland say they have a great deal of evidence from online communications, including social media activity linking Ekpa to organized incitement and support for extremist activity. The Finnish court found that between August 2021 and November 2024, Ekpa used his social media following to spread violent propaganda, incite violence, and was involved in activities tied to a militant separatist movement aiming to destabilize Nigeria's southeast. Alongside terrorism-related offenses, the judgment also included aggravated tax fraud and violation of Finland's Lawyers Act, signaling that the court saw multiple serious breaches of law. Why Finland in panic? Now, about the idea of Finland being in panic, that seems more like a sensational headline than confirmed fact, but the courtroom outcome is shaking things up. This case is described as one of the most high-profile terrorism-linked trials in Finland, involving a resident apparently influencing foreign politics, especially since the crimes happened outside Finland's borders. The fact that foreign-based individuals can start tension abroad via digital platforms is surely raising concern about oversight, law enforcement boundaries, and international cooperation in counterterrorism. Ekpa's loyalties and followers have declared intentions to appeal the sentence, calling it politically motivated, which means the backlash and scrutiny are far from over. So, while panic might be dramatic, the legal, diplomatic, and social ripples from this case are definitely under high pressure from Finland authorities to Nigeria's government and concerned citizens. What's the implication back home? Nigeria's federal government officially welcomed the conviction, calling it a victory against terror and support for justice. The verdict has stirred mixed reactions. Some see it as justice for victims affected by alleged orders and commands tied to Ekpa. Others remain cautious, citing debates around activism, separatism, identity politics, and legal fairness. There are broader discussions on how social media activism can cross borders and stir serious trouble, and what responsibilities foreign-based activists may bear, especially in relation to their home countries. What now? What to watch out for? Ekpa and his legal team may appeal. This means the matter isn't fully settled yet. More hearings, legal arguments, evidence review to come. Nigerian audiences and diaspora groups will likely continue debating. Is he a separatist hero? A criminal agitator? A pawn in international politics? Monitoring how Finland deals with foreign political activism and extremism. This case could set precedents for similar cases internationally. So, after the sentencing, sources close to Ekpa's legal team started leaking information online, saying they have what they call heavy evidence that could completely change the narrative. According to them, this evidence allegedly shows that the prosecution misunderstood or misrepresented some of Ekpa's online statements and transactions. They claimed that most of the videos and posts used against him were taken out of context, and that the financial transactions linked to terror funding were actually community donations from followers meant for media campaigns and humanitarian work, not violence. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Finnish law takes online incitement very seriously, but it also has strict rules about freedom of speech. So Ekpa's lawyers are trying to show that his content was political expression, not terrorism. That's why they've submitted digital forensic evidence, including metadata and communication logs, to prove some of the videos used in court were edited or reposted by third parties pretending to be his team. This is what people mean when they say Finland in panic. It's not that the country is in chaos, no. It's more about the legal shock this kind of defense could cause. If the court re-examines those materials and finds inconsistencies, it might open a new conversation about how Finland handles cases that involve foreign political speech on its soil. Meanwhile, on social media, especially X, formerly Twitter and Facebook, Nigerians are seriously divided. Some are saying if he truly broke the law, he must face it. Others are shouting, this is a setup. They want to silence Biafra voices abroad. That's why this case has turned into a kind of political storm, not just a criminal trial. And to make things even more dramatic, there are reports that some Finnish politicians are under pressure to explain how Ekpa operated for years from their territory without early intervention. Some opposition members in Finland's parliament have asked for an inquiry into whether Finnish intelligence ignored the warnings from Nigeria long ago. You see, stories like these always open new chapters. While the Nigerian government is satisfied that justice has been served, others say, wait, what if he wins the appeal? Because if that happens, it will look like the system moved too fast without double-checking all evidence. That's why Ekpa's lawyers are making noise now. They want to turn public opinion and legal interpretation in their favor before the appeal begins. Let's also not forget the diaspora angle. Many Nigerians in Finland are now feeling the heat. Some said police have started checking their social media pages and online groups. That shows how digital activity is now being taken more seriously. Remember, even one Facebook post can land you in trouble if it's interpreted the wrong way. Now, bringing this home, what does this mean for Nigeria? Well, it highlights how the government can work with foreign countries to track and hold citizens accountable even when they're abroad. It also teaches that free speech has limits once it crosses into incitement or violence. But again, it raises a question too. Who decides when a speech is political and when it becomes terrorism? That's the fine line this case is testing. Another key point, Ekpa's movement online, known as the Biafra Republic Government in Exile, is now under even more scrutiny. Some of his followers are scared. Others say this will only make their message louder. But either way, one thing is clear. Finland is not taking online agitation lightly anymore. And that's the reason this case could set a global example. Imagine if more European countries start looking into political activism happening from their lands but targeting African governments. It could change everything about diaspora movements. So, as the legal team prepares for appeal, we're going to keep watching closely. The next hearing is expected to review whether the so-called new evidence really holds water. If it does, the case might be reopened or even downgraded. But if not, Ekpa could serve his full 6-year term.